Rugby World Cup 2023, folks. Pool D, England and Japan. England get it done. Bonus point win. We're going to go through some key events and stats, and you guys can let us know your thoughts. But yeah, 34-12. Didn't concede any tries. Bonus point. Looks like a pretty good day at the office for Steve Borthwick and the boys. But yeah, good crowd for this one. Swing low, sweet chariot. Belted out a few times. Plenty of Japanese fans there as well. But I thought it was a pretty good watch. Good test match. Good way to finish my morning of rugby, although it's not quite finished yet. First minute, Masirewa knocks it on in his own end goal, which wasn't fantastic. And the England guys did speak at the end of the game about the ball being very greasy. So conditions, according to the England guys, worse than what they looked on on camera anyway. But yeah, that knock on in goal, not ideal, and basically led to Japan being under a bit of pressure early on in their own territory, leading to 3 points. George Ford doing the honours, knocking the first points of the game over. And then Masirewa got his leg seemingly injured, kicking a ball clear only a few minutes later. So his night was done about 5 minutes in, and Japan were pretty much stuck in their own half. Masirewa was replaced by Lemeki. I didn't realise Lemeki had that good a boot, though. He actually did pretty solid with some of his kicking from the back, actually, which I was a little bit surprised about. 7 minutes, Japan had their best period. Speaking of Lemeki, he put a big up and under in. Alex Mitchell dropped it. And then there was a cross kick. Matsushima had a wee break and then put a little dink through, but just couldn't quite gather it. There was a bit of handbags, so a little bit of tension early on with both these sides, I guess, coming off wins. They both want to try and be top dog in the pool, even if for this one Japan were the underdogs. But Marler eventually puts pay to the Japanese attack, winning a nice turnover on defence. And England's attack, despite an Elliot Daly knock-on, after they'd had a few phases, was actually looking a bit sharper. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, and that England's going to be found out if they play, a higher ranked team than Japan, but it looks like they're getting there. I don't know. You guys let me know what you reckon. England did have, to contradict the point that I just made, a big slow maul on like 10 minutes, and it was just inching its way up the field. The Japanese guys kept asking the ref to call use it, but he was just like, nah, it's still moving. It's still moving. It was moving slowly, but it was still moving. It got themselves into some really decent field position, and as soon as they used it, they knocked it on. So maybe their attack's not getting that much better. And then Japan in return went 9 phases from that knock-on, offloads. A cross kick was too big, but they had advantage anyway, so they went back for that. Knock it over, 3 points apiece. So yeah, a bit of an arm wrestle from both sides, which is what you want to see in a test match. We also saw another time in this game, because we saw it in Chile-Samoa as well, where it looks like it was going to be a scrum penalty, but because the turf just tore up beneath the players, that they kind of cancelled out the penalty and went back for another scrum. So there's been a few issues with the turf tearing up now. Ford got charged down at one point, which was one of the few blots on an otherwise good outing from George Ford. Alex Mitchell did well to sweep back and prevent Japan from gathering the ball. And then he actually put in a bit of a beauty of a box kick to exit for England. So, but just shows that Japan had them under a bit of pressure and even took the lead on 22 minutes when they opted for a 3 after getting advantage. It's a pity that Lemeki couldn't gather a wee dink through. Apologies, I just need to sneeze for a second. That feels better. Now, what can England do now that they've just gone behind after 22 minutes? Well, they get a try. Now, England did get 4 tries in this game, which maybe speaks to their attack being a little bit better. But the first try and probably the second try weren't like the product of some slick attacking play. But the first one is certainly pressure being applied to Japan, for sure. Ford, with an absolute beauty of a touch finder, means Japan has got a line out in a very awkward position right on their own goal line. The disruption to that line out, pressure applied by England, means Japan fumble the ball. Chessum gets it, goes very close himself, and then Ludlam is able to pick and go. So from going down, it's a brilliant response with that touch finder and then the pressure applied by the forwards. So from 6-3 down to 10-6 up. It's really good play. And you don't have to be the best attacking team in the world, man. If you can stop teams from scoring tries, that's 2 games where they've conceded 1 try. You know, Argentina only managed 1 right at the death last week, and they didn't concede any in this game. Maybe England can, can push on more than we've been giving them credit for. But then again, they are still in Pool D. We need to see what happens when they get out of Pool D, assuming they are going to keep on this road they're going on. I'll stop getting distracted. Let's go on. 29 minutes. Japanese tackle off the ball. George Ford missed a penalty, which is maybe the only other kind of big error of his night, but missed kicks happen to everybody. And then England conceded a penalty. Jonny May changing his line from a kick. Soft one to concede, but makes it a 1-point ball game, 10 points to 9. England got a penalty at maul time. Interestingly, didn't opt for the 3 on 38 minutes. It was nice to see England go for the jugular. The crowd loved it. And they tried this trick play. Like, you just think in England, just go for the maul. And I love a bit of variation. You know, I love it when you go hard maul, like direct, and you go direct like 3 times. So you sucker the opposition forwards into not wanting to do anything but just push. Their heads are buried so far down they can't see what's going on. But this was maybe a little bit too early to go for the trick play. Yeah, but they went for the trick play where they looked like they were going to set them all. They popped it back, and I'm not sure if it was meant for Jamie George, but it hit Jamie George in the face. It was a falcon. So, yeah, England ended up knocking it on. I feel like they could have just gone for a direct maul and maybe had a better chance of scoring a try. But anyway, chance missed, but good intent. And then one last chance before halftime when Japan are offside. This time they do opt for a 3, and it's 13 points to 9 at halftime. Run meters pretty even, 144 to 152. Kicks from hand is high, 19 to 21, but not all distance kicks. There's a lot of little dinks through, a lot of up and unders in this game. Possession England 60%, territory England 57%. Clean breaks though, 3-1 to Japan. And that's still an area of concern for England's attack, is the ability to kind of generate those X-factor clean chances. Can they improve that in the second half? Yes, they can, thankfully. Daly starts the second half with a line break, and I write a note, not quite prophetically, but I literally wrote, is this a sign of things to come? Because I felt like it's been coming, and there's been a lot of talk about England's fitness maybe being better than some of the other teams at this World Cup, and maybe that shows a wee bit as well. Himeno does well to Japan to win a penalty at the breakdown to kind of get his team out of a bit of trouble. Mitchell has maybe a couple of his less flash moments where he kicks it a little kick through dead when England were trying to apply a bit of pressure, which is a let-off for Japan. Like, they've been having to make a couple of like one-handed tackles on guys' shorts by this point. Like Amato Fakatava did one, Lapis Labaskakni did one. So, yeah, they were under the pump a little bit, and Japan were knocking it out themselves. And then Mitchell's next little kick literally gets booed by, I think, the entire crowd. It's just a dink into the Japanese 22. It's too deep for anyone to gather. Not contested. It just gives away possession. It seemed a little bit wasteful. So, yeah, like, kicking's fine, but it needs to be better executed than that. But yeah, overall, I do think England were looking the team in the ascendancy by that point, and I think the crowd just wanted to see them really kind of go for it. They did have a knock-on in position when Ludlam knocked it on, which was a decent chance for Japan. Japan actually didn't look that threatening on attack. England's defence looked pretty safe, but they still managed to concede a soft penalty, so brings Japan back to within a point, 13-12. But we're at 53 minutes by this point, and that's the final scoring for Japan. So the rest of the game, man, it's England. I mean, barring a nice line break from Riley, where they go about 6 phases, before that, England had managed their second try of the game. And it's a bit of a freak try. There's nothing particularly well worked about that try, unless using Joe Marler's big old head as a means to propel the ball forward was part of the plan. It's a pass which Will Stewart can't quite grab, but it still goes backwards off his kind of shoulder, smack into Joe Marler's head. Laws is able to gather it and just kind of trot over the line, with nobody thinking that the game's going to continue because everyone's assuming it's a knock-on, but you got to play to the whistle. And, it's a try. It's a try. So just as Japan had got it back within a point, they've now gone down 20 points to 12. So yeah, there's the Riley line break after that unlucky try they concede. Japan start to just get put under the pump, man. England's forwards do a job. They drive Japan over their own 5-meter line from a scrum. England chance to kill the game. Can they do it? And yes, probably the best attacking, well-worked try of the game is that sweet cross kick to Freddie Steward out on the left wing from George Ford. Beauty stuff. That's the game I write, 27-12. And yeah, can England chase down the bonus point? Yes, they can. Not the first time, 73 minutes when they go 12 phases on the Japanese goal line. I was kind of banging my head against my desk at that point because I was like, pretty sure if you guys spread it, there's going to be space here, but the forwards wouldn't give it. They ended up conceding a penalty, but on 81 minutes, after a big maul, the English guys went about 8 phases, and well-worked Marchant goes over for the bonus point try. So, man, well done, England. You got the bonus point win. That will certainly silence a few critics. Some people will say it's only Japan, and Japan haven't been that good, but I thought Japan played pretty well. Japan played all right. They caused England problems, but over the course of the 80, I think the English forwards had a bit too much for them up front. Run meters finished 5:16 to 3:34. England's got 66% possession and 70% in the second half. Clean breaks finishes 8-5. Remember, it was 1-3 in the first half. So England certainly found a lot more space in that second half as the Japanese guys started to tire and all that possession started to tell. Defenders beaten 24-15. The Japanese line-out, I forgot to mention it, also just went absolutely to custard. In the second half, they just couldn't win a line-out, or if they were winning line-outs, it was disrupted. You can't be giving yourself that kind of poor platform. 8 from 12, their line-out finishes. I mean, England's was 10 from 13, which is still, they would like that to be a bit higher, but yeah, 8 from 12. The Japanese were under too much pressure at the end. Kicks from hand is pretty high, 42-37. So it speaks to maybe a little bit of the conditions and the way that both sides were trying to exploit a bit of the space in the backfield. Ford, man of the match, has 47 metres. A bunch of points for him again. Ben Earl, 76 metres, 2 clean breaks, 3 defenders beaten, 12 from 13 tackles. He was a very, very busy boy. Well done from him. And for Japan, Matsushima had 86 metres, had a clean break, beat 5 defenders. Lapis Labaskachny had 19 from 19 tackles, so good effort from him. Japan next play Samoa, in which kind of becomes a do-or-die game for Japan. Remembering Japan lost to Samoa recently in their Pacific Nations Cup game, and England face Chile, which may be a chance for them to rotate the squad. I kind of hope that Steve Borthwick keeps with more or less his same team and allows them to keep working on that attack. All due respect to Chile, it'd be a good chance for England to try some stuff and see how it goes. But yeah, there you go. 34-12. Well done, England. Bonus point win. A little bit fortuitous in some of the tries, but huge defensive pressure. Big effort from the forwards. Japan did well for just around about an hour. Lineouts and knock-ons cost them maybe a bit of fitness towards the end. All that tackling kind of paid off. But yeah, off to finish Romania against South Africa now. I managed to watch 50-odd minutes of it. Going to catch up on that. It looks like South Africa's probably going to win. Spoiler alert if you didn't know that. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.